We begin today's show with what else but the Jalen Ramsey trade conversation. Turns out Pretty Ricky, a.k.a. Slick Rick, was right again. The Dolphins and Jalen Ramsey are going to explore trade options. This was also was confirmed by Dolphins GM Chris Grier. And one of the better defensive backs in football, even though he's aging, is now on the trade block. Now, that doesn't guarantee a trade happens. Certainly feels that way. So, easy prediction for you. Will the Dolphins end up trading Jalen Ramsey? Y for yes, N for no. Let me know in the comments section of today's video. This was early this morning when, sure, a lot of us were asleep. I was still asleep for a little bit. Ian Rappaport, Dolphins and Pro Bowl corner Jalen Ramsey are mutually set to explore trade options, and it wouldn't be a surprise if he played elsewhere in 2025. Miami and Ramsey, due $25 million this year, could be parting ways. This was basically the confirmation of this report from Slick Rick on April 11th. What stands out to me, by the way, is the terminology of mutually set to explore options, which is what the Rams do when they traded away Jalen Ramsey and didn't get very much back for him, and makes me think that Ramsey will have some semblance of influence on his next destination, which could very well bring down the value the Dolphins can get back in a trade, even though they just paid him in September. Ramsey did play all 17 games this past season. The pass breakups, interception numbers, not as high as I think Miami would have preferred. Overall, I think he is still one of the better top-end corners. He's not, at this point, guys like Patrick Surtain, et cetera, have probably surpassed him. But everybody else, you can make arguments that Ramsey is just as good as those types of players. He is, wherever you want to rank him, got to be at least top 10 corner, right? So there should be some value. Now, the money is a factor here. The Dolphins, that traded before June 1st, actually lose $12.5 million of salary cap space. They need a bunch of money because they just paid him in September. The new team would have only a $9.8 million cap hit and a $21 million cash charge. So the Dolphins don't save cap space. They do save cash, short-term and long-term. The new team would owe Ramsey $18 million. There'd be a lot of dead money on that. So you're not paying a bunch of the cap in 1 year for him. You are paying a bunch of cash for him, though, and you'd be hoping to have a multi-year asset if you trade for Jalen Ramsey. Because of his age and everything involved here and the situation, I don't think the trade cost is that high. Ramsey turns 31 this upcoming season. He is expensive. He's not crazy cheap. The cap hit's pretty cheap. The money, the actual dollars you are paying him is not that cheap, though. Miami did pay him last September. So I don't think you have to do a new contract. It'd be kind of weird if you wanted a new contract. That wouldn't make much sense to me. But do make note, the last Jalen Ramsey trade was a third-round pick and a backup tight end. That wasn't very much, and that's when he was younger. I would question if the Dolphins get much more than that back, if they even get there. So who ends up trading for Jalen Ramsey? Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Who do you think ends up making the deal to land Ramsey? It's the pinned comment on today's video. So if the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. Let's break down some top Jalen Ramsey destinations. Not in any order, just teams that I find intriguing. The Falcons. They have Raheem Morris. They need another corner. They are light on draft capital, which does complicate things a pretty decent amount there. But he, I think, is a good fit for the Falcons' current head coach. The Raiders, who I was going to is actually the betting favorite, by the way. No third-round pick, or down a third-round pick, I should say, because of the Geno Smith trade. Obvious need at corner. This would be a really fun pairing, by the way. The Cardinals, a sneaky team. I wonder if Ramsey wants to go to more of a true, obvious top-end contender, which would make me question some things on that fit and alignment there. But Arizona could use a legitimate number one outside stud corner. One of my preferred fun ones, the Green Bay Packers, which would be entertaining because they could send Jair Alexander as part of this trade instead of package. Maybe you do it after June 1st and send future picks there. The Packers need one more guy on defense, I think, especially at corner. The dream fit, I think, maybe even for Ramsey, is the Ravens, who he kind of had interest in playing the first time around. Ravens don't often make big-time splashy trades like this, but this would be fun. And the funniest outcome, he just goes back to the Rams, who actually are in need of a corner. And they could go right back to the F them picks mindset and just rent him again. And even the Jags could be a fun, pick. They got corners, though, so I kind of doubt that one. The trade odds, for those of you who are curious, by the way. The Raiders at plus 400. The Cardinals plus 500. I don't really buy Dallas as a fit, but they're plus 600. Niners could be, but they've kind of made moves to spend less cash this year. If this were a year ago, I would put the Niners pretty high. They're plus 700. Commanders, who do have Marshawn Lattimore, plus 800. Lions are a super fun fit, too, plus 1,000. Today's show is made possible by Game Time. Game Time makes getting tickets faster and easier, even for hard-to-get playoff seats. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to tip-off. With killer last-minute deals, all-in pricing, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying NBA playoff tickets. It is the perfect time of the year to get going, whether it is the play-in or the regular playoff games coming up here in the not-too-distant future. NBA playoff basketball is always fantastic. Get last-minute deals and save up to 60% off buying those last-minute tickets, not just for sports, but concerts, comedy, theater, everything else in between. Zone deals let you choose a section, and then Game Time picks the seats for big-time savings in the process. The Game Time guarantee is this. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time is going to credit you 110% of the difference. Download the Game Time app, create your account, use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply, but again, create your account, redeem code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Download the Game Time app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guarantee. Terms do apply. Let's talk quarterbacks here. And we're going to begin with Shedeur Sanders and the Giants. And kind of a late timing move, the Giants are going to hold a private workout with the Colorado quarterback on Thursday, which sounds like had kind of been in the plans for a while, but hadn't really been kept under wraps, for lack of a better phrase. Where Shedeur Sanders goes is in line to be one of the more intriguing NFL draft outcomes for round one. The Browns and Giants are in desperate need of a QB, at least long term. Maybe you can get by with Joe Flacco, which I kind of doubt, and Russell Wilson. But the Giants are not the most recent betting favorite for Shedeur Sanders. That is actually the Saints, who we will spend some time on here in just a little bit. The Steelers at plus 400, then Giants and Browns, then a big fall off to the Jets and the Raiders. So where Shedeur Sanders goes, I don't have a great answer for. Who do you think ends up taking him? Get your predictions in for me in the comments section of today's show. Now, the Giants are also set to work out other quarterbacks who, in theory, are not going to go round one, but some of the reporting has been insane. I don't really buy it. It doesn't make any sense. Tyler Shuck out of Louisville and Jalen Milroe out of Alabama. There was a report from Diana Rossini that a QB coach told her that they'd rather have Shuck over Cam Ward, which is frankly one of the stupidest things I've heard in my entire life. That doesn't make any sense at all. Shuck's career production is like behind Cam Ward's best season. It just like doesn't. I feel bad. I think I'm bodying Shuck. Like, he's a good day 3 prospect. He's going to be a good NFL backup QB. He does not have. It took him until he was 25 years old to be a good college QB. Like, come on. Let's be serious here. Shuck going in round one, I genuinely do not see it at all. Like, Milroe, I can see it. Milroe is run fast, throw ball far. Okay, I get that. Anthony Richardson went 4. Probably shouldn't have. Milroe, I think, needs 2 years. He might actually be a running back when it's all said and done because he is a freaky athlete. But, like, at least there's the physical upside of the young developmental QB, not, he plays good play action like Tyler Shuck does, who also, like I said, has some of the worst decision-making I've seen of, like, under pressure, just throw it up in the air. Done that multiple times. I don't like this quarterback class. I don't think it's very good. So for the Shuck, the Milroe, the Dart buzz we'll get to here, I am confused by it. It reminds me of 2023 when Kenny Pickett, or 2022, whatever year it was, Kenny Pickett and Malik Willis and Desmond Hall, Matt Corral, round one buzz, and then one guy went in the first 2 days. Not going to be quite that extreme, but I have doubts that all these guys are actually going to go all that early. So if you have not already, hit that sub button, youtube.com/chatsportstv. We will have more NFL draft coverage, including live NFL draft coverage for you right here for all 7 rounds. Then I want to get to the Saints quarterback situation here, because something is fishy and something's not right with this entire situation. The background here is this. Derek Carr's 2025 season is in doubt because of a previously unreported shoulder injury. The Saints are now in a bad quarterback spot, and they are clearly looking at quarterback options. And now there has been buzz that it was actually Derek Carr's camp that leaked the shoulder injury, that they were the ones who were sending this information out there. Diana Rossini is not in these words, but kind of said that it might be an exaggeration of the injury severity and that Derek Carr just doesn't want to get Kirk Cousins, so he's using the injury as an excuse. What is going on in New Orleans? Something's not right here. Because how do you go months from the season into April, I know he was hurt down the stretch last year with not a shoulder injury, to being hurt right now to, maybe he misses the entire season. This almost feels like, I've seen some good conspiracy theories, the Carr camp leaked this in an effort to get a different team to trade up in front of the Saints so they can't take a QB and they have to stick with Carr longer, which is insane. If the shoulder is banged up, then his base salary was fully guaranteed. This is weird. Something doesn't add up to this story. I don't think we've heard the last of this with what the actual details are. Diana said she's had a tough time finding anyone in the NFL telling her that it's actually a severe injury. Yet he might miss the entire year. This one doesn't smell right at all. So how many games does Derek Carr play in 2025? Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Now, in the end, the Saints seem very likely to end up adding a QB in this year's draft because, let's be honest, Spencer Rattler and Jake Haener are not it. I have doubts that a lot of the other QBs that might be in play for them are it either, but you keep throwing darts until you get the right guy. Pun not intended. We'll talk about Jackson Dart in a second. I don't know who that pick is. I don't know who that QB and when it ends up being. I could see them liking Jackson Dart. I do think Jackson Dart has a lot of the intangibles. Teams, I've heard really good stuff about his leadership. There is good mobility. There is good arm strength, but it is not great. Dart does not have elite-level physical traits. He also is coming off I'll call it what it is. It's a Mickey Mouse offense at Ole Miss that works wonders for the college ranks, but when he had to do actual, regular, normal drop-back stuff that wasn't deep shots and play action and all kinds of schemed-up easy stuff, it honestly wasn't good. Dart, I don't think, should sniff round 1. But a lot of the buzz of late is that he very well might. There's even been some he goes before Shedeur Sanders buzz, which I also just don't really get it. So draft night, round 1, round 2, about to be super interesting.